Alright guys, so if you're into your watches with different dial materials and something a little bit special, then this might be the watch for you. So I've seen mother of pearl dials, aventurine, etc. But with this one, we've actually got 24 karat gold. Yep, you heard that right, 24 karat gold. This brand always brings something a little bit different, tries to mix things up, and keeps it pretty classy as well. So apologies to any Italians, because I'm probably going to butcher this pronunciation. So this is the review of the Venezianico Nereide Aureo. So this is the box it comes in, but I'll get all this out of the way and we'll get right down into it. And here it is. So obviously the first thing that jumps out is that 24 karat gold dial, but I think the rest of it's looking pretty good too. It's a really classy looking piece. But there is actually some other interesting stuff going on with this other than that dial, but we'll get down into that as we get into the review. Before we do that though, you probably want to know how much is this going to cost you. With it being 24 karat gold on the dial, is it going to be extortionately expensive? So the pricing on the website doesn't include tax, so I'll give you the prices with the tax added on, or at least more or less what it'll be. So it's coming in at €900, which is about £779, and about $1,045. So yeah, it is on the pricier side, especially compared to a lot of the pieces I tend to review. But then I've never reviewed a watch that's got a 24 karat gold dial, and obviously that is going to come with a premium. So even if that puts this out of your price range, you might still want to watch this just to see some other interesting bits that are going on with this watch, and whether it is actually able to justify that price. But now that's out of the way, let's get down into this review properly, go over all of the specs and just show it in a bit more detail. And as we always do, we're going to start off with those dimensions. So we've got a diameter of 39mm, thickness of 10.7, lug width of 20, then the all-important lug to lug is coming in at 45.6. Then when it comes to the weight on this supply bracelet, with all of the links included, it's coming at 135 grams, and then size of my 7-inch wrist, it's coming at about 131. And I do think it suits the watch well. So let's take a closer look at that now, starting with the clasp. And the first thing you're going to notice is that it is actually polished on that centre section, so it does smudge and scuff a bit. And that is something that is quite common with a lot of different parts of this watch. There is quite a bit of polishing going on, so just give it a quick wipe first. And now you can see a bit better, we've got that Venezianico logo on there, and then we've got that brushed section either side with the polished chamfers. Only 3 levels of micro adjust though, double pushes, milled clasp, and then when it comes to the case back, this is pretty nicely done. So it's actually depicting the inside of the Basilica San Marco, and that is what this watch is basing its style on, and the colours and the materials and everything, which is why we've got that gold on the dial. I think it's a really well thought out overall design, and it's really well executed too. But getting back to the case back, so in terms of specs, we've got the usual stuff, so 316L stainless steel, 200 metre water resistance, the fact that it's automatic, and then just the branding on there. And then we've actually got screws on that case back. Now moving on to the bracelet, we've again got a mixture of brushed and polished, so it's a 5-link bracelet. It is nicely done. Nice bit of articulation with it too, so nice and comfortable on wrist. Although we do only have push pins on it, would have liked to have seen screws. Overall though, it's pretty good quality, and I think it does suit the watch perfectly too. Now moving on to the head of the watch. So we've got that logo again there on the crown, and then those integrated crown guards, and you can see the nice polished chamfers on the edges of the case too, as well as some more polished details on that bezel. It's all really well done, no issues with the finishing at all. And then you can see we've got that flat crystal just sticking out slightly past the top of the bezel too, and we will be checking soon if that is sapphire. Okay, I've teased you guys long enough now. Let's get on to the star of the show with this watch, and that is obviously that 24 karat gold dial that I've talked about a couple of times already. So, we've got applied indices and logo, printed text, and those hands and indices do catch the light and play with that really nicely too. And you might have also noticed we've actually got some texture on that dial, so it isn't just a flat kind of gold colour. So apparently they do a ripple finish on the dial, and then the electroplate, the 24 karat gold over that. It's quite a subtle effect, but I definitely think it works well. Got nice proportions on all of the hands too, and then the only other thing on the dial is that printed minute track around the outside. And you can also see too, we have actually got quite a nice sunburst on that dial, so there are a lot of different surfaces that play with the light with this one. And you can probably see as well, the bezel is also one of them, which we will get onto in a bit, because that's not just your standard bezel either. Before we do that though, first of all let's check whether we have actually got sapphire crystal on this or not. Using the trusty diamond selector too. And yep, we have got sapphire crystal, so it's always good to see, especially given this kind of price you expect it. So now let's talk about this bezel properly. So the reason it is different looking, sometimes it looks black, sometimes it looks kind of silver mirror finished, is because it's actually tungsten. Obviously it's polished, and again, because it is polished, it does gather fingerprints quite a bit, but when it's clean, it does look really good. So I'll show you that in action now. So it's a 120 click tungsten bezel. So we've got a nice clicky action there. No backplay at all. Not too heavy, not too light, it's just right. And then when it comes to the alignment, if I get a quick zoom in, you can see on my one, that's spot on too. So no issues with the bezel at all, and it's just something a bit different. So now it's time to move on to the movement. So we've got a Miyota 9039, so if I unscrew the crown, show you this in action. Nice grippy crown, no issues there. And because this is the no date specific version of the movement, we've got the one position, so pop that out, second hand stops, and obviously we can just change the time, and then pop it back in, second hand re-engages, hand winding, all works well, no issues there either. I say it all the time, but I do really like these Miyota 9000 series movements. They're nice and slim, and they're also high beat too. So far so good, but are we going to keep this going with the Lume? So let's check that out now. So, as you can see, we've got that nice ice blue colour, so we've got BGW9 with this one. And initially at least it's looking pretty good. Pretty consistent across the hands and the indices, as well as that triangle on the bezel. And we've even got a tiny bit on that second hand as well. No patchiness at all, but the question as always is, what is the longevity like? So let's speed this up now and find out. So to begin with, not too much of a change as you'd expect, but as we keep going, you are going to see that it's going to fade a bit. I'd say the indices are probably fading slightly more than the hands. Not a great deal in it, but if you are going to have one fade more than the other, that is definitely the way around you want it. It probably doesn't help that those indices are very thin, so they can't get that much on there really. But given the area they're working with, it's pretty good lume. Not the best I've ever seen, but far from the worst. So if you're still watching and you've made it this far into the video, you probably want to know now, how does it wear on wrist, both inside and out? So we'll do that now, as well as go over the pros and cons, and then see if maybe you're tempted to actually get one of these. And here it is on my 7-inch wrist. So you can see now what I mean about the way the light plays with it. There's a lot of different surfaces catching the light there. It's a really dressy looking watch, which might not be to everyone's taste, but given the style they're going for, I think it's perfect. The only thing I'm not overly keen on is the fact that it does gather a lot of fingerprints, and it's probably going to gather quite a few scratches too. When it comes to the bracelet, wears really nicely. No sharp edges at all. The clasp, I think it looks good, although I would have liked to have seen a couple more levers on micro adjust at least, or even better, an on the fly adjustable clasp. They're becoming a lot more common now, so I think for this kind of price, it's not too much to expect. When it comes to the head of the watch, that wears really nicely. Nice compact lug to lug, nice bit of curvature to the lugs as well. And the case is pretty thin too. But as I've said all the way through this, the star of the show is that dial. With it being 24 karat gold, it's just not something you see all that often, and it's just really cool looking, with that rippled, textured finish. I just love the overall design aesthetic that Venezianico do, and with this one, it's no exception, with it being inspired by Basilica San Marco, and having that design of the interior on the case back too. I also like the fact that we've got the Miyota 9039, so the no date specific version of the movement, so we don't have a ghost date position or anything, and we've got that high beat too. Some people might say that at this kind of price you should have a Swiss movement, but I've not had any issues with Miyota 9000 movements myself, so I'm fine with it, but I can kind of see where people might be coming from, given the price of the watch overall. But I know I keep saying it, a big chunk of that price is probably going to be that 24 karat gold on the dial. So I guess it comes down to whether you are willing to pay a premium to have that on the dial. So let me know down in the comments, is that something you are looking for in a watch? And if you want to check out any other Venezianico watches I've reviewed so far, I'll leave a link to the playlist at the end. But that's it for this one guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.